Hi, my name is Wandia Maina and I am a mountain psychologist. It's a term I've coined for myself because I am certified in the wilderness first response and I'm also a counseling psychologist. I am a wellness practitioner. I believe in the holistic well-being of an individual, not just the physical component or the mental component, but the holisticness of the human being. I am a director of Mountain Slayers Kenya. Actually, I should say I'm the founder of Mountain Slayers Kenya, a role I've held for over a decade. In this company, what we do is that we organize hikes on a monthly basis to 2 different destinations in a month. We have the easy hikes for anybody who's trying to get into hiking, and then we've got an advanced level hike for people who are more seasoned and have been hiking for a longer time. Above that, we also do trips to different destinations within Kenya, East Africa, and the world at large. Over the decades which I've been running Mountain Slayers Kenya, I have been privileged to guide and lead groups to different destinations like Mount Kenya, Mount Kilimanjaro, the Ruwenzori Mountains, which is also called the Mountains of the Moon. I've also led expeditions to Atlas Mountains in Morocco. We've also gone to the 8th wonder of the world in Peru, which is Machu Picchu. I've been privileged to also go to the Swiss Alps, Mont Blanc, very many destinations. And the reasons why I hike and encourage people to do this, I grew up in a very active family. My parents were avid golfers. My mom is still avid. And she has actually represented Kenya to different destinations as part of the Kenya team. My brother was a mountaineer and I used to watch him, my elder brother, I used to watch him organizing expeditions when he was in university. At this point in time, I didn't have any interest in the outdoors, but I was an active child. I swam and I swam competitively. Now, as I was growing up, it got to a point where my father suffered from Alzheimer's, which is a degenerative disease, and the man who used to be the leader of the home started losing himself, and that created a shift in the family. Because we didn't understand what that was going on, everybody looked for their own ways of coping. And for me, I turned to what was familiar or what I saw my friends doing, which was just going out and partying. But it got to a point where this was no longer feeding my soul. And one day I approached my brother and asked him about this thing he calls hiking. And I said, I've been watching you packing and going on hikes. Why don't you take me on a hike? And he looked at me and he was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'd like to go on a hike. And he said, okay, no problem. I'll call you during the course of one of these weeks and we'll plan. And less than 2 weeks later, he called me and he said, get ready, I'll pick you up on Saturday and we shall go to Ngong Hills. On that particular Saturday, I waited, my brother came and picked me up, and it was just him and a friend of his, and we drove to the Ngong Hills. And for context, at my current fitness level and the amount of experience that I have in the outdoors, I'm able to do Ngong Hills within a couple of hours from end to end, and get back to Nairobi and do a lot of stuff in the afternoon. On my first experience in Ngong Hills, we spent the entire day in the Ngong Hills. What this meant is that we were walking slowly. My brother and his friend would be chatting and I'd be at the back, and they would sit down, and I had the entire vistas of Ngong Hills to just soak in. And I was left primarily to my own devices. And at that point, I was able to just start unpacking what it was that I was currently going through as an individual and as the family. Nature in itself is so therapeutic. The negative ions that you get by just walking in nature refreshes your soul, refreshes your mind, and gives you a different perspective to any situations you're going through. And that for me, even as I was pouring out my heart and crying out my heart, as I was walking through and asking God, why me? Why my family? It allowed me to just come to terms with this is what my journey was, and this is what my peace is. And one of the most amazing things of that journey is that out of all that pain, my passion, which is Mountain Slayers, was born. At the end of that entire day, because we were there like from 8 and I got back home at about 6 p.m., I felt a different kind of peace and freshness that I had never experienced before. And I knew this was something that I wanted to do again. Come Monday, I called my brother and said, all right, that was fantastic. What time on Saturday? And he's like, no, calm down. This thing is not done every week. I'll let you know when the next time we're going, but it's not this week. And I pestered him. And because he's my elder brother, he did what any responsible elder brother would do. He looked for a community for me within Ngong Hills and connected me to a lady who was there. And that is how my journey then began. I would deliberately go to Ngong Hills every Saturday morning. And I would spend my first couple of hours just walking with the Ngong Hills community and then get back to Nairobi. And I did that repetitively for about maybe 4 months. And then my friends noticed that I was missing from the Friday sherehes. And the reason I couldn't go for the Friday sherehes is because I had to wake up early on Saturday. And so one of them decided to join me on this. So she came and she loved the challenge, the physical challenge, and we committed to doing it at least twice a month. And that's what we did. And while doing this regularly, we bumped into some other people who would come running on Ngong Hills, and we started chatting, and we knew we'd look forward to seeing them. As we hiked them, they would come running and would stop at the top at the windmills and have a conversation. After doing this together for about another 3 months, we said, you know what, guys, we've been doing this for very long. Why don't we try something else? Out in the distance, we could see Longonot and Mount Suswa. And they just said, why don't we go to Mount Suswa? And I was like, yeah, good idea. And they turned to me and said, Wandia, organize it. Let us know what that looks like. We are down. Give us the date. We are going for this thing. And just like that, my journey of planning hikes began. I organized the trip. I did all the logistics, got the transport, did the ground research to figure out what hiking Mount Suswa would look like, and organized everything, and we went. We had a fantastic time. And on the way back, we were now a group of about 7 people. They said, this was fantastic. We are doing it every month. One day, come together with a destination for every month and let us know. And just like that, I came up with my first calendar, and Mountain Slayers began. It was an extremely organic experience and growth. And because it was giving me the much needed healing that I needed to be able to support my father as he was going through that journey, to support my mom and my family as well as we walked this journey, I found that I also drew in a community of people who needed the same kind of support. What I've come to find as a psychologist and of course as the expedition leader is that energies attract. You're able to attract people of similar energies based on where you're at. So in the formative years of Mountain Slayers, I attracted many people who are, I would call them injured souls, or people who are going through journeys of transformation or primarily needed to go through a bit of healing. And we formed that community and supported each other through that very difficult season of our lives. And from that, actually I should also add something there. That journey of supporting the family through my dad's illness was one of the most painful things that an individual can go through, to the point where they always knew that Wandia is going to cry anytime we go up a big mountain. And for sure, I would be the first guy who was crying. Mount Kenya, I'm crying. Kilimanjaro, But it's because the mountain removes your real self. It reveals your real self. Whatever pain you have, the mountain is going to reveal it. So I cried all the way through. But in that, I got my healing. And because I got my healing, I knew for sure I wanted to create a space and a community for people to experience the same kind of healing, to experience the same kind of camaraderie, the same kind of support, non-judgmental acceptance. And that is what Mountain Slayers is about. The ethos behind Mountain Slayers is, one, relationship with God, because in those spaces, there's no way you can deny the existence of God. Being in the outdoors, for sure, God exists. And the next one is relationship with yourself. because you're able to learn so much about yourself through the hiking journey. Just being in nature, challenging yourself physically, connecting with other people, you learn a lot about yourself. The other is relationship with community, because we come from various backgrounds. One of the unique things or amazing things that I found within the Mountain Slayers community is that you'll find that people come from such diverse backgrounds. You've got the CEOs, you've got the managers, you've got the homemakers, you've got people from diverse backgrounds. But when they come there, they're just human beings, non-judgmental, supportive of each other, and just encouraging each other. And finally, nature, because that is where we get to experience ourselves, get to experience everything magical, and therefore then we try as much as possible to leave no trace behind and to leave the environment that we hike in better than it is. So the underlying theme for Mountain Slayers is all about relationships. So I have a story to tell you about how we got to be certified in the wilderness and how our journey to how we currently operate got to where we are. So remember I told you that I was challenged to organize hikes for a couple of people. Back in the day, there never used to be as many hiking groups as there are currently. And in my heyday, I would say that at any one hike, I would have 80 people on a hike. 80, not 80, not 80, 80. So this particular hike, there was a hiker who actually got electrocuted at the beginning of the hike as I was giving the briefing. He leaned too much into the fence, he got zapped and he fell, he stood up, and then we continued, but I didn't know anything about that. Later on, as we were making our way, I'm telling you we're about 70 people, and I was at the back. I hear people calling my name, Wandia, Wandia, Wandia. There's something which has happened. Then, it's like broken telephone. Then eventually I hear them saying somebody has broken their leg. So I am looking at the people that I'm walking with and I'm asking myself, where are they calling me? How do I know what to do? I have got no experience about anything, first aid. But anyway, because I was being called and I'm the one who, was the leader, I made my way to the front. And this is how God was present. I had 2 medical doctors and 2 paramedics on that particular trip, and they had their kits with them. They had their syringes, they had their medication, they had everything. So I get there and I find that indeed this person has broken their leg and I am clueless about what to do. I watch the paramedics cut down some trees, or rather some branches, and they created a makeshift, what's it called? That thing, stretcher. They created a makeshift stretcher, and that is how we were able to get that guy out of that place. The guy was about 85 kilos, and it took maybe 15 men to get him out of there. Again, because we're not experienced. As the ladies, we decided to help these men. So what we did is that we took the hiking bags. We took all the hiking bags and we left. Now what that meant is that the men had got no resources, no water, nothing. And we went, and they're struggling to get these men, to get this guy out of the ravine. That is the trip that changed my outlook on what the outdoors is and how dangerous it is. The first thing that I learned was that I'm liable. Once I have accepted money for wrong people, I assume liability and responsibility for them. So it meant that I needed to learn how to take care of these people that I'm leading into these spaces. I went for my first course in first aid at St. John's. They did a brilliant job with me. However, they were not equipped in training, in stuff in terms of the outdoors. So I had to look for a different course. And I found a course which was being run by the Sentinel Outdoor Institute, which is from the United States of America. And I went for a 14-day intense course on how to be a wilderness first responder, which means that I'm certified to be able to deal with any emergencies in the outdoors and to sustain life until I'm able to hand you over for the next level of care. That was a significant and defining moment for Mountain Slayers. Never again have I gone for a trip with 80 people without necessary resources, number one. 2, I'm also very cautious about the environment that you're hiking in. Of course, the larger number of groups that you're hiking with, the more damage you do to the environment. So that particular situation is what pivoted my journey as a guide and made me take keen interest into ensure that the people who are trusting me to lead them are actually safe, and I'm doing the best that I can to ensure that they enjoy. The reason I'm on this journey is to help people understand what it takes to hike, and to hike without too much strain. I'll be taking you on a journey to see what I do in terms of my physical activity, and also in terms of my mental well-being, to be able to safely guide and also enjoy the outdoors. Mountain Slayers Kenya organizes hikes on a regular basis. We've got an annual calendar, and we have got 2 hikes a month. One is an easy hike, which is an intro for anybody interested in getting into hiking and the outdoors. And the second hike is a customized, is an advanced level hike for the person who is stronger and more confident in their abilities. If you're looking to start your outdoors journey, Mountain Slayers could be the partner for you. We have small hiking groups where you would not get lost in a crowd. Our maximum size, group size, is 20 people. Mostly we're about 12 people. So it could be the one if you're looking for a small group experience. Over and above that, we customize hikes. If you're a group of friends, if you're a family, if you're a corporate organization that is trying to get into the outdoors, either to challenge your leadership team, we could be the right partner for you. Why don't you reach out to us and let's have a conversation and see how we can best meet your needs. For anybody who is looking for a magical experience, Mountain Slayers could be the community for you. It's a space where we move with small groups, and we also customize hikes for different people. If you're a team of friends, you're a company looking to spend time in the outdoors, or if you're a family that just wants to go out and spend time in nature, Mountain Slayers would be the perfect partner for you, because we know what it takes to enjoy the outdoors. We know what it means to assess your levels of fitness, what you need to do to prepare to be able to safely enjoy it. Wellness with Wandia is my journey on how I'm able to do the things that I do. I'm going to take you on a journey to see what I do on a regular basis to allow me to enjoy the outdoors, what I need to do to stay sane, mentally, physically, spiritually, and socially as well. So I invite you to follow me to be able to see what this looks like. I'm not a superhuman, I'm just a human being who is intentional and deliberate about the things that I want to do. So join me and see if I am the right fit for you to be able to get you towards your goals. So I'd encourage you to go through our pages, call us, have a conversation with us, and let's see how we can be able to get into our community and also to create a magical experience for you, which will, at the end of the time, improve your quality of life. So karibuni Mountain Slayers. Welcome to Mountain Slayers Kenya.